Hello and welcome to the Simuldub Saints, your guide to seasonal anime dubs. I'm your host, Laserkid, and with me as always is my trusty co-host.
Hello, I am Archangel, lover of cat girls.
You've been listening to our theme song, Wherever I Go, from friend of the podcast, Ampren. Please check out their awesome music, link in the description.
This episode is sponsored by BlasTech Industries. More about them at the end.
Ooh.
And also, I'm still getting over that nasty cold from last week, folks, and despite 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, I still have a pretty bad headache. So if I seem cranky and mean, it's because I am cranky and mean, and this headache is taking the veneer off of me. So my apologies to all of you, and especially to LK in advance.
All right then. Well, we've got a little bit of news, some good stuff. Although it premiered in theaters a couple of weeks ago, the Dragon Ball Daima dub has not been available anywhere, but it was announced that it's going to be hitting Crunchyroll on January 10th. Okay, I can finally show it to you. But that's
Lucky me.
yeah. Well, actually, yes, because this is legit the best Dragon Ball has been since the 90s.
Yay.
You like Dragon Ball?
I tolerated it.
You tolerated Z.
Never mind. There were parts of it I liked, but
I think you'll like this one a lot better than anything towards the end of Z even.
all right.
It's kind of like if you took old school Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest and put it in a bottle and shook it together.
Appropriately enough.
Indeed. Next piece of big news: the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, the first of 3, is set to premiere in 2025. These are the ending of the story is a trilogy of movies rather than a season, so should be fun.
All right. Well, hope that's a lot of good fodder for you and the others on the Demon Slayer podcast.
I'm sure I'll be hearing from V-Lord soon enough on that one. Also for us dub people news, there's Dungeon People, and they're getting dubbed by Hidive starting back on December 4th. We actually did watch the premiere. Pretty fun so far. I'm not gonna go through the whole cast list, but the main two. Clay is voiced by Donna Bella Litton. That's I, Hoshino, and Oshino Co. And Princess Rose Oriana in Eminence's Shadow. And Belle is voiced by Annie Wild. That's Ista in Helk, and Beta in Eminence's Shadow.
Yep. So the one sentence elevator pitch is: imagine if RPG dungeons were actual institutions that required employees.
But people don't actually know that.
Right. So, yeah, it's working behind the scenes at the amusement park sort of vibe.
Absolutely get that vibe. And our last piece of news. This is more for us than it is for you guys, although we will definitely cover it when it comes. We've talked about Ascendance of a Bookworm getting that 4th season, and now it's confirmed that it's coming in 2026. It's being animated by Wit Studio, which you may know for having done half of the Spy Family show and all of the Spy Family Code White movie. They're going to be, it's a new animation studio, but I mean, Wit Studio is really good. And yeah, gotta have our Bookworm back. The books are done even in English. The full book is out. So hopefully they can get this anime sped up after that, because it desperately needs more.
Yeah, I need to go through the whole thing. And all I have to say about this news is praise be to the gods.
Praise be to the gods. Yes. Oh gosh.
And yes, I did do the pose.
Ah. Good for
I
you.
mean, I'm sitting down, but I did it anyway.
Hey, not bad, not bad. Well, I'm jelly, but not as jelly as our topic, because we're here to talk about Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Nights.
Indeed, which was very much the most surprising, amazing show of this season, because the title conveyed and the key art conveyed absolutely nothing to me. So.
Yeah, no, I think this is up there with well, for you at least. For me, I'd heard it was good from friends, but The turnaround appears to be similar to what we experienced with Windbreaker, where we went in like, and then went out and went like, yeah!
Yeah.
In no small part, this show is kind of responsible for me drawing again.
Indeed.
We've talked about it briefly when we went in a while back when the dubcast was announced, and we talked about how we really liked the first episode. So like how we just did with Dungeon People, something like that. And yeah, very good stuff. This is kind of like the Oshino Co minus the murder mystery plot.
Kind of, yeah. It deals in similar types of stuff. There's many different threads weaving together here, which is part of its appeal. But on the other hand, I'm not sure where to start talking about it.
Well, I'm going to start talking about our group of Jelly because I'm so
Okay.
jelly of Jelly.
hmm
I had to.
Spelled like you see in the episode title.
I mean, I literally just dropped the title, so you know.
hmm
But our main two characters, I mean, the whole group Jelly is the main characters, but the main two are Kano Yamanouchi, also known as Nanoko Tachibana or Nanotan, voiced by Juliet Simmons. That's Memcho in Oshinoko. And Eiko Skimi in Ya Boy Kongming. Man, she just voices all of the singers, I swear.
hmm Well, she has that sort of voice.
She does. She was part of an idol group that was run by her mom, but things didn't go well and she kind of ended off on her own.
Yeah, to put it mildly, it was a huge thing, which we'll get into.
We'll get into when we get into it, yeah. But she becomes a big fan of Mahiru Kozuki, voiced by Lucy Christian. Absolute mad lass?
Last would be the opposite of
Yes.
lad, yes.
Mad lass legend, because that's Nami in One Piece and Uravati Ochaku Uraraka in My Hero Academia, among many, many, many other awesome, amazing roles. Mahiru is an artist who hates her own art. I can absolutely relate.
hmm
Um, but Kano
So,
loves her art, and they run into each other and they geek out with each other. And if
right, because years and years ago when she was little, Mahiru's art, a picture of is sort of a psychedelic jellyfish, which is where this all starts to come from, was selected to be painted as a mural in, where was it? Downtown Shinjuku, wasn't it?
some, oh God,
One of those
it
places.
was a place, but it's like this little wall.
Yeah, but it's like one of these very urban areas in Greater Tokyo somewhere. I forget exactly. And so she was very very proud and so forth. When she went to show it to her friends, they didn't realize it was hers and they didn't like it, and so that just nuked her self-esteem in one moment. And
Yeah.
and then years later she finds that this girl Nanotan has just been in love with the piece and so forth for years and years, and has always wanted to meet the artist. And so
And she was a fan of Nanotan when she was Nanako Tachibana. So it's kind of a mutual meeting your idol kind of a moment. They end up deciding that they're going to work together though, and that begins the group Jelly with Mahiru's art and Kano's singing.
yeah, so Jelly is this little character that Mahiru comes up with, and Kano's going to provide the voice and the song, or at least
It's kind of
at
like
least the
a
voice to it.
Daft Punk thing where you don't see the
Right.
singer. I like it. It's a cool
Yeah.
thing, and
So
it
there's a
really
whole
does
group
happen.
behind it, and then there's this character, this voice, but everyone knows it's not one singular person.
Yep. Um, but in order to make those music videos, they need an animator. But it happens that Mahiru knows such an animator named Kui Watase, voiced by Molly Searcy. That's Unilord in Shy and Jean in The Case Study of Vanitas. One of my favorite
Who?
shows of the last several years, actually, right there.
Yep. Who?
And Kui's
Yeah.
adorable, by the way.
Yeah. To basically summarize her deal at the surface level, at least, is she is effectively a high school dropout who's still in high school, and she is actually a successful streamer.
Indeed. She's one of those people that was loud and boisterous in middle school, and in middle school that was loved. In high school, she's getting flack for it, so she dropped out and became like I said, successful streamer. She's also a really good animator, so she ends up joining the crew through her connection to Mahiru.
She's one of these people to whom I could totally relate, who does not leave her apartment unless she absolutely has to.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that. I really can. Nerd powers unite.
Indeed.
Our last of the core four members of JELLEE is actually an admirer of Nanaton's from when she was Nanako Tachibana. In fact, she was encouraged by Kano when she was practicing her piano because she writes and plays musical compositions on the instruments.
Yeah. Conservatory kid, classically trained, all that sort of thing, with all of the pressure that goes along with that.
Indeed. And that's Kim Anok Me Takanashi, voiced by Natalie Rial. That's Kana Arima in Oshinoko, and Greya in Ragnar Crimson. God. The amount of times that I'm going to say Oshinoko and Eminence in Shadow, by the way, and there's a lot of crossover between those two shows in particular.
Eminence in Shadow has so many characters. I think everybody who works with Crunchyroll has been on that show at one time or another.
This is not Crunchyroll. This is Hidive.
I'm sorry, I meant Hidive.
Yes.
I'm sick. Shut up. All of you out there, shut up. Stop judging me.
Stop judging me. Well, yeah, and the Sentai Filmworks guys, and they're Texas, just like Crunchyroll, but there's crossover between both, but there's also exclusives to both. So a lot of these guys are like, well, Eminence Shadow is one of the biggest things they did, so yeah. And so is Oshinoko for that matter. It's just as if those are the two most recent big things they did. And then the last, well, we have a couple more, but I'd say the last core member of JELLEE is originally actually a hater.
More like
More like
got the wires crossed, but yeah.
Yeah. Shizue Baba, voiced by Alison Summerall. Beatrix in Eminence in Shadow. And interestingly, going way, 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 way back, she's Yuri in the old dubs of Dirty Pair. That is some old me getting into anime in the mid 90s stuff right there. She's, of course, plenty of other characters, but those are the two that I most recognize. So, but yeah, she's definitely been around, definitely done a lot of stuff. And she does a good job here.
Oh, yeah. So Shizue's deal is she's an independent idol who's been trying since he was like 16 to have her break out, and she's now a little over 30, and she has a thoroughly adorable daughter, and she's still trying. And I have so much respect for that.
Oh yeah,
and she does not look 30. She looks like she's like 20 or less. She's frankly quite adorable.
Absolutely. And her daughter's name is Ariel Baba, voiced by the legendary Brittany Lotta, who is Chi-Chi in a lot of Dragon Ball, including most recently Dragon Ball Daima. And then also, hyper recently, Acro Silky's daughter in Dawn to Dawn, making us all cry. But if you're looking for some more classic roles from her, Yuzuriha and Dr. Stone should get you going there.
Right then.
But yeah, that's yeah, a fun mom and daughter story thing going on there.
Yeah, and her daughter is extremely supportive of mommy and is mom's biggest fan, and they are just you want to root for them so hard.
Oh, absolutely. Our next major character, supporting character, is Kano / Nanaton's sister, who we only really see a couple times, but Mian Hayakawa, voiced by Genevieve Simmons. That's Kana Ichikawa in Dangers in My Heart, and Eita in Eminence in Shadow. She gives us a lot of the information about what exactly happened in their family between their mom and Kano, and it's just like, oh man, that's some crazy stuff. Speaking of family members, we also have Mahiru's younger sister, Kaho Kozuki, voiced by Brittany Karbowski, another legend, Reamer Tempest himself, or herself, I guess, with the voice actors, but characters male, and Kufufu in Shy. Um, Kaho's kind of a small character. She's kind of hard on her sister at first, until she realizes that Mahiru's the artist in JELLEE, and then she gets really jelly. And she's like, "Hey, what kind of microphone do I need to get?" She's adorable, honestly. A good family sister situation. Like
Hmm.
it felt very real. She doesn't do a lot, but what she does do feels real. And then there's their sort of manager slash boss. She runs a bar, and that is Honami, voiced by Shelly Colleen Black. That is the witch in Helk and Agenda in Akame ga Kill. She's funny because she's just so done with all of them at the end. She's just like, "Get out of here! You're not doing your job."
Yeah, two of them, I forget which two, had part-time jobs with her, and that all just falls to bits.
It does, although
So,
she does help them out with the jelly stuff, which is pretty cool.
hmm.
And I should mention we're only mentioning some of the subcasts. There are so many subcast characters. We'd be here all day. But we are going to talk about, I guess, the rivals here, because this kind of gets into the crux of the story. The Sunflower Dolls, run by Nanotan's own mother, Yukine Hayakawa, voiced by Patricia Duran, Iris Midgar in Eminence in Shadow, and Kana's mother in Oshinoko. I see she specializes in terrible mothers.
Hmm.
Although I'm mixed on Yukine. She runs the Sunflower Dolls. She got her daughter into that as a means to push the brand. Not super caring if Kano thrived or not. It was kind of that was kind of the impression I got early on. But
I have no
things,
idea what she thought versus what she actually thought, versus what was some sort of justification. Who the hell knows?
oh, who knows with her. Um, but she definitely, her life is her job. That is a quote
Yeah, and she
from,
does seem to be very good at it.
indeed.
To be fair.
That's a quote from Mahiro Kosuke, who deals with her later.
Hmm.
And it seems very much professional to the extreme. Um, Things got interesting with one of the other band members, Mero Seto, voiced by Carly Hawk. That's now Satsuka in Food Wars, some sexy curry herself, and Rokoko, the announcer lady in the early parts of the Helk storyline in Helk. She's probably the most interesting of the ones here. We're going to talk about there are four of them. We only have information on three of them. But she's the one that is definitely the most interesting because she's at the crux as to why Kano, as Nadeko Tachibana, left the Sunflower Dolls. There was a rumor site, something along those lines, that she was leaking
Yeah.
information to help promote the
Yeah,
band.
sort of like an entertainment industry version of WikiLeaks.
Yeah, and
Very nasty shit.
Kano was not a fan. I agree. They got into a fight over this because
Yeah.
Marrow is.
Well, she managed to get that. Basically, she smeared some other group, and that opened up a spot that they were then about to slip into, and always this lucky and so forth. And then Nanotan found out that Marrow had basically done this, and were getting in off of somebody else's misery, and she straight up punches her in
Yep,
front of the media and everything.
which gets
Um,
her booted from the band, understandably. But that's why the beginning of the story, Nanatan's on her own. Um, I am not a big fan of Mero Seto because she's kind of a bitch, given what she did. but I will say she sort of redeemed herself at the end. I do say sort of. She did help when things were really bad for Nanotan at the end, encouraging her to look forward, and she did, and that got her to see everything going on, and she was able to sing, which was really nice. The other two members of the Sunflower Dolls are Akari Suzumura, voiced by Alyssa Kular. That's Gamma in Eminence of Shadow, and Otai in Gintama, the very final. And Momoko Yanagi, voiced by Christine Kelly. That's Alpha in Eminence in Shadow, and uh, Michiko Tendo in Chainsaw Man. Um,
They're just
yeah,
kind of there for the most part.
the both of them are just kind of there. They have things they say and do, but they're not super.
Yeah, they're just generic idol.
So plot wise, we're not going to rehash the whole plot, but
Yeah. One thing I want to say before we move on, just is a completely irrelevant side note, but I do want to say, art wise, I love the clothing aesthetic that Momoko has going on within their group with the shawl slash cape thing. That's very very cute.
oh,
So
absolutely, that is a nice look.
yeah,
Um,
that's it.
okay, but yeah, as far as the plot goes, most of it is just jelly growing, going through different levels, getting their art better, getting their stream going, everything going, growing the group, getting the group together. There's a major twist towards the end where that, for better or lack of a term, WikiLeaks for Entertainers shows up and leaks who the members of JELLEE are, specifically Nanotan as formerly Nanoko Tachibana, which means everyone's all pissed off at her. This starts a rift in the group where things are a little stressful, but things really come to a head when Mahiru is actually hired by Nanotan's mom, Yukine, to do art for the Sunflower Dolls, which she accepts because Mahiru wants to improve her art. She thinks her art's really bad. This is a good excuse for her to really, really push her artwork out. And she works her ass off on this art. That she does tell uh, Nanotan what's going on before she accepts, but she says she thinks she's going to. This causes a big fight between Mahiru and Kano, and probably the saddest scene in the whole show, where basically they have to apart. Things are said that shouldn't have been said. It's really hard to watch, but it's good storytelling, but it's really sad. And Mahiru ends up just focusing on her job. Kano stops singing. I keep using Kano and Nanotan interchangeably because
Yeah,
Kano's her actual name.
yeah. I don't know, basically just shuts down.
She does. And it's really sad. But there are two other members of JELLEE who take to this because Kim was working on a song for them. They were going to do a live song for a live performance, and with everything in tatters, they play the song on stream between her and Kiwi, and they're talking about how they're probably gonna have to break up because of this, or at least take a break. And this just really hurts Kim's heart, and she starts live singing herself, which she has gone on record. I'm never gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing.
Well, because she, as it turns out, she cannot sing
She cannot
at
sing,
all.
but she sings her heart out on the stream.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, as someone who enjoys singing, while I agree that it's not the best singing, it is so clearly heartfelt that I
Oh
wasn't.
yeah.
It actually, even though it's not the best singing, I felt captured by it because of the true heartfelt behind it. And that carried over to the story. QE manages to track down Nanotan, show her that stream, show her that the stream is like super supporting the whole thing, and then Nanotan actually gets on the stream and was like, "Yeah, that's amazing. We're gonna do this. Don't know how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do it." And that links in to what's going on with Mahiru because she did her what she considered to be better drawings, but Yukine didn't like them because they weren't her actual drawings. She calls Mahiru out on, "You don't like your actual art, do you? But I didn't hire you for quote better art. I hired you for your art. I wanted your art." So there's a bit of a deal struck between Mahiru and Yukine. I'll do the art again. I'll do it in my style, my older style that I don't like what you do. But you got to get JELLEE to help out. And we have a Kong Ming style. Okay, that's a good offer for a kid. But what can you offer me here that makes this worth it? Because this could also be backlashed if we're not careful.
Yeah, this lady. Imagine if Kong Ming was a middle-aged bitch instead of a beautiful bastard.
Yeah, I want to.
But the
I want to
same
see them come
same
at each other.
wisdom and deep understanding of human nature.
Indeed, I don't actually remember exactly what Mahiru says, but she says something enough to impress her to actually do it. And so that offer is given to JELLEE, and they accept. Nanotan has trouble when the day comes to sing. She's too afraid that everyone knows who she is, and they're all out together. And they do this really cool effect with the crowd that's like got this like angry mob looking thing, like evil blobs over the crowd, like angry at her, and you
To
could just
show Kano's projection of her insecurities.
mm-hmm. And she's all worried. Not able to answer the interviewer about any questions. She couldn't. She has trouble singing, and that's when Marrow does what I consider to be her redemption act here, telling her to look ahead, and that's when she sees. Uh, my hero's drawn a bunch of different sea creatures, and they have that plan with their blue umbrellas, which we didn't mention, but was previously set up that they wanted their fans to use blue umbrellas to create an aquarium. They created that aquarium that they said they'd do, and that spurs her on to actually sing. And at the end, when she's done, she goes up and my hero runs up and meets her in a very adorable scene. And the last big thing we see out of that is the credit scroll go up for both JELLEE and for the Sunflower Dolls. And for JELLEE, Yukine does not credit Nanotan. She does not credit Nanako Tachibana. She credits Kano Yamanochi, her actual name. And that hits Kano hard. And that's why I don't fully hate the mom, because clearly she respects her daughter's work.
Yeah, this is some sort of weird Asian parenting thing.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, following this, we see them go through their high school graduation, which uh, Kano does run into her mom, and her mom tells her that she's proud of her because she has graduated from the Sunflower Dolls to be her own person. And that's where the show ends, really. I want more. I need more of this madness.
Yep.
Um, we've gone through the plot a little bit. We've gone through the characters. What really works about this is the sentimentality, and if you have any creative spark in you, it will resonate. It certainly did for me. It feels very authentic.
Yeah, I've said this about various things before, but I'm convinced this is in the same continuity somewhere else in Japan with your boy Kong Ming.
It
So I
feels
want
kind
to
of
see
similar, yes.
Eiko and JELLEE collab.
Eiko JELLEE collab. Let's get Kong Ming in here. Hell yeah. That's
Oh,
another
God.
anime that needs another season. Good lord.
Oh God, he and Yukine would just wind up drinking the evening away together and chatting.
They'd be playing chess the entire time while drinking, and
Yes.
they'd be fighting each other over something or other.
Yeah, or goodness knows what, but that would be amazing.
Insert the scheme from Patton. You beautiful bastard! I read your book.
Yep. Oh goodness.
Oh God, yeah, no. I think that's the overarching thing I gotta say about this show is that it is a lot of fun. It feels right, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing I mentioned. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode, but the the art, the everything, it feels extremely contemporary, like it's a snapshot of right now.
Yeah,
Which, considering the production delay, is pretty impressive.
What do you mean production delay?
I mean, they from where they started conceptualizing this to where it would actually release had to have been a year or so, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was delayed though.
Right. Well, production time then.
Yeah, when you say production delay, that means like there was something
Okay.
that
No,
has a mean.
fine.
That term means something.
Okay, fine. Lag time, whatever.
Okay, Yeah, no,
but it feels like really now, if you know
yeah,
what I mean,
no,
which
it
is pretty
does.
impressive.
No, I agree. It definitely feels like I said. This whole thing feels authentic. It feels real. These people feel like people I know. Some of them feel like me a little bit. I identify way too much with my hero. I feel that hate of my own drawing all the time, and people telling me, "Oh no, your art's great," and then I'm just like, "But it sucks though."
And I'm that one friend who's like, yeah, your art kind of sucks. Keep drawing.
Yep, yep. Which I appreciate that out of you.
I mean, quality isn't the point. You're not doing it for a living.
Nope. As much as I wish I could, there's no
Well,
way I'd be able to. I'm
but
not that good.
anyway, another thing we should mention that you said to me is that this apparently was not based on a manga or anything. This was an original anime.
It is original anime television series produced by Doga Kobo for the 50th anniversary. It is set in Shibuya, so there you go for that banner.
Yeah. And that's another. Okay, so it's Shibuya, not what you call it. Anyway, um, yeah, but that's another thing why it feels so contemporary is because that's another reason there would be a lag is usually there's a manga which is contemporary and then it's a few years later that
There
the
is
anime comes out.
there is a manga, but it literally premiered the volume one of the manga came out the same day the anime premiered.
Makes sense.
There's also a light novel,
Okay, I'll check it out.
and that came out later than both. But there are three of them. I don't know if it's been translated.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye.
But yeah, no, this was actually it's Doga Kobo, who's known for a lot of previous works. My Senpai is Annoying, Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle, Asteroid in Love. They're also the guys who are animating Oshi Co.
Okay,
At least season two. I don't see season one on here.
that explains how High Dive
Oh
came
no,
to have
it
this.
is Oshiko. Both seasons of Oshinoko. There you go. So they are also the animators of Oshinoko.
Yeah, so that explains why this fell in with High Dive. Also, this does feel like more of a High Dive type
This
of
is
show.
absolutely yeah. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but High Dive tends to pick up this kind of stuff. Crunchyroll tends to be more mainline shit. This is more side stuff.
Oh God, I just realized uh if Ico and Jelly cross over, we get to hear Juliet Simmons talking to herself,
Ah, yeah,
which I totally believe she could do and make the characters distinct.
absolutely. That would be actually kind of funny as heck.
Yeah, I've heard actors do that before, and having seen a bunch of stuff with Juliet Simmons, I am absolutely confident she could do that.
And yeah, now looking at manga and light novel are both saying they're adaptations. So yeah, the anime is the original here, which
Cool.
is nice. We don't see that as often as I'd like, and it's really cool when we do. And honestly, yeah. On to, I don't know what else to say that we haven't said, but this show is really good. It's really enjoyable. It's a good time.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, while nothing's been decided yet, this is probably going to be my pick of the season
Ooh,
for visual design, if nothing else.
oh, I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right. Well, I think that's about all we can say on that. So,
Yep, yep.
Ark, why don't you tell us about today's sponsor?
All right, this episode of the Simuldub Saints is sponsored by the fine folks at BlasTech Industries. For several millennia now, BlasTech has been the galaxy far, far away's leading producer of personal energy weapons and also light artillery. Though it's worth noting they do produce vehicle and ship mounted weapon systems as well. So if you need personal protection or to outfit an army or anything in between, your first, last, and only stop should be BlasTech. Remember, when you see them, whoever they are, blast them.
Blast do they make lightsabers too?
Um, no, that's a cottage industry. You
Ah,
make
okay.
it that's you got to DIY that,
Oh
or
man.
or kill someone and take it.
Well, yeah, but, I was hoping that'd be a fun extra bonus. You put
Yeah,
a
I'm trying to
lightsaber
think. I
bayonet
don't
on
think
your
I've ever. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of lightsabers being mass produced.
put a lightsaber bayonet on the bottom of a blaster, make it extra fun.
Oh my god. Um, energy bayonets are a thing, but not in Star Wars.
I'm being a goofball.
Um,
I
was say
actually did not know
Unreal?
that that was from. I did not know that was the name of the company that made blasters, but now I know.
Well, it's one of them. It's one of the big three. So like Han Solo's blaster is a BlasTech DL-44. I want to say one of the DL series of heavy blasters.
Well, all right.
Basically, they have it's kind of like a Magnum pistol. They're big. They're relatively bulky. They have incredible stopping power, but you only get like 30 shots out of a power pack. So
Mmm.
it's more of a specialist thing than something that would be issued in the military. Also, they're expensive compared to the like a regular blaster pistol. Like imagine the Makarov of blaster pistols. That's what you'd get it, as a sidearm as an Imperial officer or something.
Makes sense.
You don't want to hear me going Ian McCollum on Star Wars tech.
You've
At least
already
not.
started. I'm trying.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I am not Gun Jesus, and so I'm going to shut up.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to tell about people where they can find us. So, Ark, outside of the CVS counter, where can people find you?
I've been substitute teaching at GeckoCon High School. And
Ooh,
if you want to, Persona 3, if you want to get a hold of me, well, comment below this video or leave a comment on any of the Simuldub Saints social stuff that LK will talk about. But otherwise, I don't do social media.
indeed. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter at LaserKid Prime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. And you can also find my written works on Toonami Faithful, as well as me appearing on their podcast, Toonami Faithful Podcast. Available anywhere podcasts are found. As for the Simuldub Saints, you can find us on Blue Sky and Twitter at Simuldub Saints. We do also have a Facebook group linked here on the YouTube page or on the Spotify podcast page if you happen to be there. If you're on any of the other platforms that Spotify pushes out to, check out one of those two sites if you're interested in the Facebook integration. I do post episodes when they come out in all three places. Yeah, that's where you can find us. So that about does it for this week's episode of Simuldub Saints. So until next time, catch you later.